What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new reaction, and today we're watching Understanding European Soccer in 4 Simple Steps, a Guide for Americans. What a title. I promise you, a year ago, I didn't know a single person that watched soccer or even kept up with it. Like, I did not know anybody. Like, football just wasn't that big of a thing. At least for all the people that I know, you know. But over this past, like, year and a half, football is taking over America. Like, I'm included. Like, I've been watching so much, trying to learn more about it and keep up with it. It was just like a wave of soccer just hit Americans in the face, and they're like, hey, we kind of like that. Let's start watching this and keeping up with it. So as an American who still doesn't really know that much about the sport, I figured, hey, this probably helped me understand a little bit more about it, so we're here to learn, baby. So we're about to get into it. Go to the channel, hit the subscribe button, drop a like for more football reactions. There is so much more for me to learn about this sport, and making these videos helps me understand, and then reading all y'all's comments helps me understand. So if y'all want to see me do more, hit that like button. But other than that, let's get into it.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps.
Here we go.
For Americans. Although from the outside it may seem complex and confusing, to understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things. Number 1. Each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided.
The leagues, listen. There are so many different leagues. And as an American we got the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, the NHL. Like, all of our sports are just combined into one league, which I guess it makes sense. All the other countries are too. But there's just so many, and like big names and big matches here and there. It's like, it's so hard to understand the leagues, especially as somebody that doesn't know anything about them. But me, a lonely American, listen, it's tough.
Divided into 2 45-minute halves. And when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other teams twice, the team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy, a parade, and the season is over.
So you don't keep track of the wins and losses, it's only the points? Or do you keep track of the wins and losses too? Because like, literally all the sports over here in America, it's all based on how many games you won and how many games you lost. Your win-loss record is everything. But I kind of like that y'all do the point system, because I feel like it benefits teams more when like they go on like a winning streak. And then if you're on a losing streak, it's going to hurt you even more. So I kind of like that. I always thought that was super hard to understand, but then if you just really break it down, it's not too complicated.
There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2, relegation. We'll use the German League as an example. Every year, when the German League has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation. The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division. And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not owned by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates or Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league.
Yeah, see, like, we have the different leagues too. Like, the NBA has, like, the G League. But all of those teams are owned by pretty much the same owners of that team. But I really like that. I like how they do that. Like, hey, if you're super bad, you can't be in this division anymore. Get out. And then the very good teams in the other division, they're like, hey, come on up here. You got a chance. Let's see what you can do.
What if instead of coasting to the bottom for better draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end?
That's true.
To avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone.
Dang! Imagine being bad at your job and they're like, hey, we're taking $40 million away from you. Like, God. But see, now I really like it, because that makes teams, like, want it even more. Like, in the NBA, after a certain point in the season, you know who the bad teams are, and they know that they're the bad team, and they're like, hey, why keep trying to win games when we can lose games and then get a higher draft pick and get a better player? But you do it this way, if you're bad, dude, that just sucks. Like, you better keep on playing. Maybe you might shoot up a little bit, but I do like that. Instead of rewarding the bad teams with like a good draft pick, they're basically saying, hey, you're not good enough to even be in this division. Get the hell out, and oh yeah, we're taking 40 M's.
Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation.
Dang.
Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3. Each country also holds an elimination-style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes A cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade.
See, I didn't know that. I thought it was kind of like the playoffs. Like, you had the season, and then after that, okay, now the cup starts. And I also didn't know that all of the divisions are in the cup, like in the tournament type thing. Has there ever been like a Division 4 team that like had a super crazy Cinderella run that like made it super far in the tournament? Y'all let me know. See, that would be crazy. Dude, I like that though. It's so different. It's nice. I like it.
So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are.
Sure.
But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Number 4. The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League, and it is without a doubt the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world, period.
See, I've heard a lot about the Champions League. I just literally just thought it was another like country's league or something. I didn't know it was like all of them.
Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well.
Wow.
So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year.
Wow.
After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August.
There's so many ways to like become a champion. Like, it's not like any of the leagues over here in America where like you got the season, you got the playoffs, you get 1 championship. But in football, there's so many different ways. That's crazy.
So, to review. Number 1, each country has its own league.
Okay.
Number 2, the worst teams are kicked out of the league and replaced by the best teams from the next division down.
I think that's one of the coolest things, though. Rewarding the very good teams in the lower division and then pretty much punishing the bad teams in the higher division. I like that. That makes everybody actually, like, really play hard, like, throughout the entire season. I like that.
Number 3, throughout the year, each country also holds a playoff-type tournament called a cup. And number 4, the UEFA Champions League is a tournament involving all of Europe and is the most important competition in all of club soccer.
Dude. Wow. There is so much that goes into it. See, now I like really understand how there's so many die-hard fans for all of these clubs. Because there's so many ways to win, and then if you're bad, like you're really bad, and like bad stuff actually happens to you. Like over here, you kind of like, okay, my team's bad. We're not going to be good this year. But as a bonus, if we're really bad, we get a higher draft pick. So that's something to look forward to. And soccer is like, no, if you're bad, dude, your team freaking sucks. That's just how it is. There's just like so much on the line. It's very intriguing and it's very, very easy to just be like, okay, I'm fully invested. Let's freaking do this. And now I understand like when your team loses, how badly it impacts you. Everything just means so much more. I like it. It's dope. But all right, guys, that is going to do it for today's reaction. Dude, that video helped me a lot. Very simple, just 4 steps, but it helped me understand so much more. Y'all help me out down in the comments if there's something you think I should know. Drop them down in the comments. I'm going to be in there reading all kinds of them. And if y'all want to see more reactions like this, let me know by hitting that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to go today. Spread love, spread kindness, do something nice for somebody today. I love you guys so much. I really do. JTReacts, I'm out. Peace.